Okay, welcome all together to today's GMG Academy webinar. Before we start, maybe some organization points. So firstly, the session will be recorded so that all the attendees who could not attend today has also access, and maybe you could also watch the session after today that you may have more information or want to recap some things. The second point, you all muted during the session, but you can of course ask questions into the chat window. So directly at the GoToMeeting window, you will find a small chat window where you can ask questions. Please just write them into it. I will follow up at the end of the session, or when it's a lot of questions after the session at all. You will receive all the answers to your questions. So please don't hesitate to ask it through or via the chat window. Okay, the topic for the next 30 minutes approximately will be, of course, multicolor separation with GMG ColorPlugin for Photoshop. So we will talk about multicolor separation firstly, what it's about, because that topic is very often heard now in the industry, and also, of course, the GMG ColorPlugin for Photoshop. So what's the functions and how we could help to use spot colors more easily and also more accurately into images. Before we get a deep dive into the topic, some words about myself. My name is Johannes Betz. I'm here the head of the GMG Academy, and so we do for the Academy, we have trainings. Also, beside of webinars, we have on-site trainings here in Tübingen at the GMG headquarters, or all over the world. We have different kind of trainings related to our products, but also non-related, so general topics about color management and proofing, but more at the end of the session. I will tell you what we do mainly. My specials here are packaging, printing, of course, and repro, and also the trainings about. So that's what I'm doing here, my special topics, and that's why I'm doing today for you the GMG ColorPlugin webinar. The agenda will be, firstly, as already said, we want to define what is multicolor, what do we understand, and what's different aspects of including spot colors into different kind of designs. Also, what's the usually workflow to work with spot colors today? So what are the prepress companies are doing to insert spot colors into images? We want to have a look on that workflow. And also, of course, we want to shortly introduce then the GMG ColorPlugin, what functions we have in case of multicolor separation, how the plugin could help you with your workflows. And then to see, how to build up a workflow with the GMG ColorPlugin and how much easier it really is to work with the ColorPlugin than work in a, I would say, conventional way. And then the main part would be the live demo. So we will do directly in Photoshop then a multicolor separation from a CMYK image to a 6 colored image with our custom, custom standard, print standard we self-created. It will be an offset shed feed carton board printing, and we will separate from an ISO-coded CMYK picture into that custom standard. And that's what we want to do today. And firstly, start then, we have of course also a Q&A session at the end, as already promised. So do we understand under multicolor? So firstly, it is of course an extension or replacement of our process printing colors, what are mainly CMYK, so cyan, magenta, yellow, and black in our today's printing processes. And as already said, we can have a replacement. So as in this example, you see we replaced here the cyan with a blue and the black with a brown. Or we could extend it, so of course using CMYK and bring further inks into our printing process. The reasons why we are doing that, or what's the needs for it, we will see in the next chart. For the extension of spot colors to CMYK, there are also some terms like fixed color palette or ECG. ECG stands for extended color gamut, and there you really want to reproduce more Pantonings, for example, in your printing process. So meanwhile, you have, in that case, or if you just add some spot colors, you work really job-based, so you change the colors in your press per job. The fixed color palette or ECG theory or method is about to have a fixed standard color set on your press. And you don't have to change so often your spot colors during your press. So it's more about having a standard than really look on quality aspects. What's the reasons for using spot colors in the other cases in packaging printing? Mostly, of course, as already said, we find this in the packaging printing section or labels, or for, of course, special printing products. So if we look at the images on the right-hand side here, we have that small drinking bottles there. You have that green choosy logo, for example, not only in the logo part. So we also use this then in the design, in the halftone images here, where we include that spot colors also over there. Also for that pouches here, sprinkles pouches, we have the Be Tasty blue on the top of, also in the background, and also maybe some of the spot colors are used in the halftone area here. And that separation, as in those days, quite, I would say difficult, or has a lot of effort to do that. And we will show you today with the color plugin how easy it could be. Also in special printing cases like decor or tissue printing, for example, you have maybe a very special area of colors, like here brown, and there's also maybe, I would say it makes sense to use spot colors instead of process colors. So what's the reasons to use spot colors or extend the process colors? So firstly, maybe what we often see, of course, the brand owner or the customer comes and he wants to have a very special color which could not be reproduced with our standard CMYK set. So we have to use a spot color to make a really color trustworthy appearance later on the package and use that for the printing process. For example, that blue here would be very hard to reproduce just with CMYK. And if we already have to use spot colors there, we can use them also in our design, because register variations through printing are less critical. So for example, if we use right here the blue in a Be Tasty logo, we also can use it, of course, in the font elements, but we also have maybe a violet or purple in the background. We use this then also in the halftone images to have less critical variations in case of register. Although, if you may heard from color shift, so if you have register problems, you could get a color shift because the ink layers are not printing in that case over each other as they should. So you may get a drift in the color appearance in one or the other way. So with spot colors, you have not that big danger to get that color shifts. Maybe you are forced to use spot colors because of your printing process, because the maximum of overprinting inks are maybe limited. For example, in direct printing for small cups, so yogurt cups, dairy cups, you have a maximum on inks on each other, so you may be only allowed to use 2 or 3 inks over each other, and it's very hard to reproduce it with CMYK. You have to use more and more spot colors. That's also the main reason why you have to use spot colors. And of course, as already mentioned, in special areas, special color areas like decor, ceramics, or tissue, you may have a really special area of the color gamut where you want to use that spot colors. And we not only use it in packaging in the logos, fonts, line works, solids, and codes, we also have it in the images, and that makes it quite, I would say, more complicated to separate now our images really color trustfully. A small excursus, I would say, to fixed color palette printing. As we mentioned at the beginning, for fixed color palette printing, we want to have an extension of the gamut. So we want to make the gamut bigger, that we can now reproduce several spot colors for different customers and different jobs. So we don't have to change the ink set on our press and so on. We can reduce setup times and costs. You also have less used spot colors maybe, and so on, not so much spot colors leftovers. So that's also a big topic. If you have per job, different kinds of spot colors, you have a lot of big stock of different kind of spot colors, and that's not really like to see from the print companies. So if you have a fixed color palette printing, that's quite better. What you see in the industry right now is that some printers set up some of their machines in kind of fixed color set. So use, for example, CMYK, orange, green, and violet. And some of the print machines are in a, I would say, job-dependent setup. So it will change with each job you're printing, depend on how much, which kind of jobs you have. And on the right-hand side, what you see right now, that's two kind of gamuts. So the color gamut, the color body here, that's ISO-coded volume 2. So what's quite an industry standard those days still, especially in packaging printing. The agencies normally send their files with that profile. And the white spots you see behind, or above this and below that, are an ECG gamut. So you have now here areas where you can reproduce much more of the Pantone book, for example, than with just ISO-coded. So that's the reason for the first topic here, why we may want to print with a fixed color palette. Challenges are, of course, the separation, because you need special tools. You have to think about screening angles. How do I screen my additional inks like orange, blue, and violet, for example, in case to avoid moire? You have to have a good control of your printing machine, because, let's jump back to the previously chart where we see here, if you now build up that nutrition facts or the brown area here with several separation colors, you have to control your register quite good. Otherwise, you will get here very not nice effects in it. So it's very important to have a good press control when you want to print with fixed color palette. And of course, as already mentioned, the fixed ink set does not match to all jobs. So it depends on your printing jobs if you want to use it for your whole production or some maybe only partly. You see now different kinds in the industry. So before we have a look on the workflow, let's see what we have to do. So normally you get your files CMYK plus maybe X spot colors in an ISO-coded V2 profile. That we have to convert now into our later printing process as may the customer wish or as may the print process defines. You have now those colors, for example here, cyan, orange, yellow, black, and green. And if you're good prepared, you already have a custom standard, but mostly that standard, that profile you already have, is mainly used for proofing. So if you are in the repro houses, in the pre-press departments around, not so much are already doing conversion profiles so that you can convert from ISO-coded V2 plus different kind of spot colors into that custom standard. So this is still a manually conversion. So there's some person who bring away the magenta manually and bring in the orange and check again if it's colory in a color case quite good. So if we have a look a bit more detailed into the workflow, usually we already had, agency sends now, after it's approved from the customer, and PDF with ISO-coded volume 2 to the pre-press department. Here now we have an manually, would say, re-separation mostly in Photoshop or other software solutions where we convert now from CMYK to that custom print setup where we have here now brown, cyan, magenta, yellow, blue, and violet. And therefore you need a lot of experience to do it, and it's a lot of time consumption. So some very extensive process. And if you want to make it really color trustfully, of course you have to have a proof profile. So for example, here on MX4, what stands for Contone proof. Of course, you also can work with MX5, that's GMG color technology profiles. MX5 is for dot proofs. You already have the proof profile from your later press, so how the press will print, but you can just create a proof firstly and then have to do the adjustment on the norm light, of course, where you always compare your separated printing file, give it out as proof, and check how good the colors are matching to your reference from your customer or from the agency. There's a lot of space, or I would say possibilities for mistakes, and it takes, of course, a lot of time to do that conversion manually in Photoshop, recheck again with the proof. Okay, we have to correct a bit the violet, again, make corrections, prove it. That needs a lot of time until you get your final data, inclusive spot colors. So we brought out the GMG color plugin to make this kind of way to work much more simple, and of course make it much more color trustfully. Because with the GMG color plugin we can create spot color channels directly in Photoshop and do so on a multicolor separation. And a special thing is we reseparate the CMYK images with our open color technology in the background. So in OpenColor, we can measure and bring in all the information from our printing process to separate the images from the agency, CMYK, isocoded, what else, into our special printing condition with spot colors. And then we also can soft proof it directly in Photoshop, inclusive the spot colors, because Photoshop, as we will later see in the demo, has not really a good function to prove in a color trustful way spot colors in the software. So we build in our own function, and the soft proof function from the GMG color plugin takes the information directly from OpenColor. So it takes the substrate color, it takes different spot colors and process colors and the overprints, and will show you the color appearance directly on your monitor. And if it's calibrated, you really can make corrections and adjustments directly in the software, and you don't have to make proofs on paper as before. So let's have a look on the workflow with the GMG color plugin right now. The beginning is the same. The agency sends, of course, our print files. Of course, maybe it could be a CMYK tagged with an isocoded volume 2, and maybe additional spot colors included in the design. The previous has to rework it right now, and it has the GMG color plugin where you can now automatically convert from that CMYK plus maybe some spot colors into your custom printing condition. And this works quite well because the color plugin is directly connected with OpenColor, and OpenColor will send the plugin the separation profile inclusive the spot colors. We call this kind of profiles MXN, just for your notice, but as we will see later on, this is a dynamic connection, so you don't have to go to OpenColor and export a profile, use it again in the color plugin. It's dynamically, so the OpenColor calculates in the background the profiles the plugin will need for the separation. Previously, we already feed, of course, OpenColor with the information about the printing process. So, of course, may you know that big test charts for kind of fingerprint on your press. In OpenColor, you either don't need it. So, with our prediction model we developed over the last years, you also can use just mini strips, and with less information, we already can predict how the press will print later on. So maybe add just the process colors with your spot colors in different gradations. Maybe add some overprints or secondary colors, and OpenColor can give the information directly to the plugin to reseparate your images. And then, of course, you can evaluate the color trustfully, or the colors already in the OpenColor preview, so called soft proof, and make maybe corrections if you want. You already can compare directly to your target from your customer on the monitor. And later on, of course, then give on the data, inclusive the spot colors for the blade production, and later on for the printing. So that's how the plugin workflow looks like. And of course, we can talk a lot. Next, we want to really do it live in the software, because I guess that makes it much clearer for you. So we will have two demos. Firstly, we will do a conversion from CMYK into that custom offset profile or situation where we have 6 colors. So from CMYK to a brown, cyan, magenta, yellow, and blue, and then violet. And this we will do very object-based. So we can work in Photoshop, yeah, as usual, as you as operator are used to it. You have your masks and your layers, and you can work really on that and do the conversion directly on each object as you want. And of course, the conversion will be done dynamically with OpenColor. The next demo will be the conversion from ISO-coded VAR2, CMYK again, to a custom flex, so standard. And just to show you another way, this will be a static conversion because you also can export from OpenColor profiles and, so to say, load it in the plugin and do conversions on the whole image. And here we want to replace the cyan with the reflex blue. And of course, separate our whole image from that ISO-coded profile into our custom profile, and directly we will see how it looks. Okay, so let's change. Let's go to Photoshop. And we have firstly that image here. Some of you already seen it before. It's well prepared in case of that we already have some masks here and we have different layers, so we can separate different areas of the image. And here we will see the extension, the color plugin. So for those of you who have not really used it yet, with the newest version, we already have a small tutorial at the beginning. So when you installed it and you open Photoshop, you already will get a small tutorial how to license it and how to firstly work with it when you first install it in your at your computer. So the main function we will use today is a channel changer. So because you see there are different kind of functions for the plugin. So here on the bottom, for example, those two, there are special for Flexo in the packaging area to would say evaluate min dot areas and adjust them. But today we talk about multicolor. We focus on the channel changer and the color conversion and the open color review. All right, firstly, look what we have. We have an ISO-coded volume 2 image right now. I already made a duplicate of it. So here we have a duplicate with proof colors on. So maybe you've seen it on your monitor also, that in comparison here, it's not set on the proof colors function in Photoshop. Here we switched on. So if you go on, that's quite a normal Photoshop function. When you go here on proof colors, check the checkbox here and go on custom. Then you can also check here simulate paper color. So now we have a simulation of CMYK ISO-coded volume 2. For later, if we done, then the conversion we can compare between our offset cardon board conversion to the ISO-coded reference from the customer. Okay, go back to our image. We want to re-separate. So we choose right now, firstly, all layers in the image. So here we have all layers. Choose all layers because I will work now masks based with different masks, but of course you can also work with different kind of layers. And may firstly start with the choco cakes. So we have all the chocolate areas chosen, and we'll use open now the channel changer. And we want to separate. So firstly, we see here our source color space. So color space is ISO-coded volume 2. And here we have our different kinds of open color projects. So I have now provided from open color 2 different kind of projects. And we want to, of course, use the offset Be Tasty Cupcake Chocolate Mini Strip. Maybe just a short info for you how it looks in open color. Therefore, we change quickly. Just have to look. All right, here's open color. So that's now open color in the background. It's dynamically connected. And if we look now in the project, you see here we have the different kind of colors in it. So we have brown, cyan, magenta, yellow, blue, and a violet. So here on we have all the informations because we have the characterization into it where open color can calculate the profiles for the plugin. All right, but let's do right now the conversion. So we've chosen now brown, cyan, magenta, and yellow, and just click on OK. And the plugin will do right now the conversion. So you see there's something happening, but it goes quite quick. And as you see right now, we have now here in the channels the Pantone 469, the brown, directly into our chocolate areas. So we go ahead and convert also the other areas. Choose again all layers, go on the light cupcake, so we want to just have the light vanilla cupcake, and also convert it into our output situation here. So there we want to convert into magenta, yellow, and brown, and maybe we don't need a cyan here. So although you can use that to check what's the best separation for each element if you did do different kind of conversions. So again, conversion is done. And now we are asked if we want to merge the 469 together, because the 469 channel is already existing, and we can also decide to make a new channel or to merge it into the other spot color channel. So renamement is maybe for flexographic printing. There sometimes you will find in the industry that you split up some elements of your design of the same color just in case of printing conditions. But here we want to merge it right now. So we want to merge that two channels and have right now the 469C also in the light cake. Okay, let's go ahead. As already mentioned, if you have questions right now, please don't hesitate to write it directly into the chat and we will consider it later on. There are some questions, but yeah, just that you know. All right, so now we want to go on and separate the cups. So let's choose the cups here, the violet ones. Go again on channel changer. And we want to try to separate them just with blue and violet. So don't use other colors, just two colors. So instead of 4 colors before, CMYK, we have right now just 2 colors in that area. As you see, two spot colors are there. And you may mention, okay, the color are really changed right now from the cupcakes. So we can just go back, just look on the cupcakes, and you will see, okay, there's quite a huge difference. But be careful, as already mentioned before, Photoshop doesn't really have a good ability to show or to prove colors, spot colors. So later on, we can really just check the color over Open Color Preview. There we can really compare them later on to our ISO coded reference, to our regarding our really output condition. So what's remaining? We have, let's look. Black is just in the shadows. So in other areas, black are completely removed already. So let's do this also for the shadows, and that's now, in my opinion, a quite nice function. So you can, firstly select the shadows, and yeah, when you look on the right-hand side here on the top, the info we have right now, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black in the shadows. And in case of color shifts and stability in the press later on, of course, it's much better to have as less colors as possible. We can now reseparate that shadows into just one color because we have the brown. So yeah, choose again shadows, go on channel changer, and say we want to try just to reseparate them with the Pantone 469C. And as you see, quite quick, needs some seconds. We separated now that image in maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes from CMYK ISO coded into our custom condition with 6 colors, including 3 spot colors, and there is no black anymore in the image right now. So now we can use the Open Color Preview, choose firstly the right project. So as you see, there's no black anymore. And we have now an LAB copy of that image. You always can check your color here on the left down area. You see it's a LAB image right now, and now we can compare directly to ISO coded. So that's now with a color of our substrate, of course. So as you see, the cups are a bit more saturated. Of course, we have some changes in the in the shadows. But this, if you wish, you also could change it, so you can go back and make a new separation of the shadows if you say this is maybe too much for me. So you are completely free to make different options here. So that was the first demo I want to show you. So working object-based with the dynamic conversion and connection between the plugin and OpenColor. And we have really information from our printing process brought into the image and re-separated with now new spot color. So that LAB image we generate here is maybe just for visual comparison, and you can send it to your customer and show it, so that will be the colors, how it looks later on the printing press. And of course, in our original file, we have then the channels what we can export and use then later on in our printing design and so on in the plate production and in the press later on. So that was the first thing I want to show you. So next demo is a bit, I would say, not easier, but quicker done. So we have here that image. May you already know it. It's a Romance 16 image, the blue one here, and we want to do a separation on the complete image with one spot color and magenta, yellow, and black on a static way. So you can also export from OpenColor profiles, including spot colors, and use them directly in the plugin. Maybe this is really interesting for those of you who have not OpenColor right now and still working with a profile editor. There we work just on a CMYK base for conversion, but you can use that profiles already in a CMYK way, just in CMYK, no spot colors, already in the plugin. So thereon you go on color conversion. That's another function. We have here, of course, different destination spaces like standards of the industry, but that's not a focus today. We want to focus on the custom profile. So here on you can load custom profiles. What I've just prepared here, so that's exported from OpenColor and file. So it's ISO-coded V2 to a Flexo standard on magenta, yellow, and blue. Open it. And we want to process all layers and say OK. And that's now again, of course, not that color trustfully, because we have now again here the spot color included, Pantone Reflex Blue. It's now in the image. And we want to have also the OpenColor preview. So choose the right profile, the right project. And we don't have any cyan anymore in the image. So it's just magenta, yellow, black, and blue. And a duplicate will be created, an LAB duplicate. So maybe for the printing process, this was Flexo, a 6-color Flexo process on coated paper. So it's a bit less saturated than ISO-coated, because it was not really a good coated paper, so standard coated, not improved coated. And yes, that's now really the color trustful output of that image in our Flexo condition. So let's go back. That was the conversion, and now let's go back maybe to the ISO coated volume 2 appearance. Firstly, check we have proof colors on, and that's now with the substrate color, and we can compare now with our Flexo process. So of course we are a bit different with different colors, but that's how we want to print later on, and you can directly judge it on your screen and don't have to prove it, and including the spot colors really. Okay, that was a quick demo how you can work with the color plugin and re-separate images with spot colors very quick and easy and color trustfully directly in Photoshop. So let's go back to the presentation. There are some questions already there we want to mention. So one question we already have is, does this work also with RGB images and profiles? At this state, not. So right now it's from CMYK images to multicolor images, but I can give you a very quick sneak preview. We already have this on our target, so there will be some news but I could not promise when. But of course, the next step would be to calculate from RGB images directly to our multicolor images, because when you think of saturation and color, what you can reproduce, when you have to convert your RGB images firstly to CMYK, you may be losing, or you lost some information from your colors. It's better to have really directly RGB images to convert. So that's of course on our target. So there are some more questions, but I want to answer this directly to you. So yeah, let's take the possibility. We have some minutes left if you want to ask questions directly. So I will come back to you. In the meantime, I will go ahead and yeah, just want to say we have a directly fitting or matching workshop here. So if you want to know more about spot color conversion and what's about that process from the agency file until the final print, we have here in November an English-speaking course and workshop where we really start from beginning, hands-on. We have agency files and we'll reseparate them also with our tools and go then on the plate manufacturing and on a real printing production press. So we have here either an 8-color flexo press or a gravure press, where we go on production later on in that workshop. So it's really hands-on and not just theory. Just go on our website where we have more information about that, just to inform you, because this is really a topic where fits to the plugin and how to work with multicolor files and all the things to make fingerprinting, make custom profiles. We all will consider in that workshop at the 21st and 22nd November 2017. Also, we have in September, we have some courses here, and there is right now a combo discount for you, because a lot of participants in our GMG Academy are booking those two trainings together because they're fitting quite good. So first day is about the color management basics, where you again have all the topics you need to understand what you want to have for doing a really good color management. And later on you get information about how to come from a test print, how to prepare a test print for the printer, and how to make characterizations and also optimization of measurements. So it's really about the whole process from make fingerprints and get then the final characterization on it. Also, we have an FOCRA 51, 52 course with new characterization data, a new industry standard here. So maybe FOCRA 39, what's the profile ISO coded volume 2, as we've seen today, it's more or less undated officially. So we have the FOCRA 51, 52 right now. So if you want to know more about this, here also different measurement conditions and viewing conditions are considered. What is first do you have to consider when you go maybe to customers or at your own production? We all cover with that training. But please, if you have a further information, go on our website on gmgcolor.com, Know-How Academy. All right, last thing to say for today. The next webinar is on the 8th of August 2017. Same time, same place, I would say, Central European summertime. It's about color management basics, where we really start as a starter for the training in September. So may, if you have colleagues or others, just inform them about that date, because it's also for free. We offer that for you half an hour about the basics of color management, and we really like to welcome you again. Also, don't hesitate to contact us about our general email or technical questions on support@gmgcolor.com, or if you have want to have more information about trainings and knowledge, academy@gmgcolor.com. Also, if you have more questions may you not mentioned right now during the session, just write me or my colleagues directly, and we are like to answer you directly. Okay, that's all from my side. I have to say thank you very much for your attention. Hope you liked it and could use the information also for your daily business to work better and faster and more color trustfully, and make, of course, your print products more color trustful. So thank you very much again. I wish you a nice later evening, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.